Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Landed in Germany and I'm Manhar. Do you know why it's so tough to find an apartment in Berlin? I'll tell you why. Because the total population of Berlin in 2022 is 3.5 million and there are just 2 million apartments in Berlin. So if you are a single person and you want to have your own place, there are just 0.571% chances that you'll get it. Shortage in the number of the workers and the high cost of the building material plus the VAT, which is 19% on the social housing projects, is increasing the price of constructing new projects. That's why you are not seeing any housing projects or very few housing projects going around in Berlin. And if you watch this video till end, you will definitely find an apartment in Berlin. Stay tuned. If you are living in some other country and you are soon going to move to Berlin, so in that scenario, you should start looking for a furnished apartment first, because these furnished apartments do not sometimes have much hassle to give you, right? They do not need much documentation from your side. So, for example, the websites like Uniplaces, Wunderflats, Housing Anywhere, Spotter Home, you can go to those websites and you can try to find a furnished apartment for yourself. So, if you come to Berlin, you go to the apartment, you stay there for 3 to 6 months, then maybe you can start looking for a permanent place for yourself, right? And these websites that I specifically mentioned, they do not ask for elaborated documentation from you. You only need to give them your job contract with the German employer, your visa for Germany, your passport, and I think that's it. And these websites give you two benefits. First, you don't need to go to a viewing personally because there are no viewings. They give you all the photographs and videos related to the apartment on their websites. Secondly, they ask for your money, your first rent and the deposit. You need to pay that at the time of booking the apartment, but they safeguard this money for you till you move in. So suppose if you are going to move in your moving date, they will give you 2 days to check the apartment, look for any issues, report them the issues. They will work on it. Maybe they will give your money back if you don't like the apartment at all, or maybe they would, try to solve your problem. So that's another benefit. And if only after 2 days they will transfer that money to the owner or the landlord, right? So that's a safety net. There's no scam there, because I have the experience with Spotter Home and Housing Anywhere, and I did in the same way. I paid the money, I went to the apartment, I stayed in there for 2 days. If there were any issues, I reported them back, but it was really good experience for me. As I have seen few scenarios in which couple of my friends faced this situation. They moved in the apartment after this safety net expired for them and the apartment was really bad. And when they complained it back to the company told them that you are no longer getting your money back. Your money is already been transferred to the owner. So you should be aware of these situations and put the correct moving in date while you're booking. If you have couple of your options in your wish list that these are the apartments that you like, but if they are not meeting all your requirements, I would recommend that you just go ahead and book the one you like the most. Because these furnished apartments usually have the contract from 3 to 6 months, and you can choose to stay there for 6 months and try to see. If you don't like it, try finding for a next apartment, but you still get that gap where you can move in, do your things, do the bureaucracy things hassle free. There are many ways in which scammers can scam you in this housing world. Later in this video, you'll find about all of them in detail. So save yourself. Now let's talk about the case that you are already here and now you are looking for a long-term apartment in Berlin. You need to register yourself on the websites like ImmoScout24, WG Gesuche, Deutsche Wohnen, eBay Kleinanzeigen. Before you register on these websites, make sure that you have all these documents prepared with you. Let's talk about Schufa. Schufa is a credit rating agency in Germany, and they give you this credit rating on your financial history. If you have a good credit rating, then you can easily get an apartment and a loan also. Yeah. So for Schufa, you need to go to a website that provides you online Schufa, and you just need to pay 30 euros to get this, and it is generally valid from 2 to 3 months. So for that period, you can apply to different apartments using the same Schufa. You also need to keep handy the copies of your last 3 to 6 months salary slips. You need to have your job contract with your current employer. You need to have an annual copy with your current apartment that you are living in, and also scanned copies of your passports, your work permits, or your blue cards with you. And when you apply on these websites, or when you create a profile on these websites, make sure that you upload all those documents properly and also keep hard copies of these documents with you. You also need a liability insurance and your rent clearance from your previous employer for this application process. Liability insurance basically is the insurance which safeguards you and the owner of the apartment from paying extra charges in case any damage is caused in the apartment while you are living there. So you can simply pay for that damage first and then you claim that amount from the insurance company, right? And we can provide you the link of the insurance company which we used in the description below. This rent clearance document is basically the document provided by your current landlord where you are living in, which states that you are paying your rent on time and you have never defaulted any rent. Also, these two documents are really important and they increase your chances with the German landlords, because Germans here are really fond of documents and all the paperwork. So it will definitely help you increase your chances among other people. Now there's one more document that you really need to prepare when you are applying for apartments. That document is a personal description of yourself and your family, where you can put a picture of you, your family, and with some personal description about your job, about what are your hobbies, how's your family, and where you're from, because this will give a personal touch to your application for the owner, and if that is in German, it will make you stand better. Let me tell you now how to maximize your chances when you apply on a listing. Be proactive. Turn on the notifications for all these apps, like whenever there is a new listing, you get a notification on your mobile and just go and apply for it in that very second. Because this is a general trend among the owners that they remove their listing within half an hour from these websites, because they have so much incoming applications. Because of this huge competition, they are so overwhelmed that they have to do it. Also, keep a German message ready with you for the owner that you are going to paste every time you are going to apply on the websites, right? And that German message should include your personal details about your family, your hobbies, and all these things that will give another personal touch to your owner. Also, make sure that you have a premium subscription on these websites, because I have the experience that when I was applying on these websites without the premium subscription, I was rarely getting any viewings. And when I opted for the premium subscription, there were lots of replies from the owners. So make sure you do that. Now let's talk about viewings, how to be prepared for them. Always be on time for your viewings. Don't be late, because Germans are very punctual and you won't give a good impression to them. And also keep a hard copy of all these documents that I mentioned earlier with you. Even though after Corona, this trend has decreased a bit, because you apply all these documents or provide all these documents while you're applying online, but it will still give you an edge if you have those documents handy in a very nice folder with you. Please be regular in applying to these listings and going on viewings as well. If you are not able to go by yourself, make sure that you send a friend or your relative to those viewings. But going to these viewings, applying regularly, it can become boresome or cumbersome at a later point of stage when you are still not getting an apartment. But it is the most important thing that you need to keep on doing again and again and again to get an apartment here. After Corona restrictions are over, and because of this Russia-Ukraine war, there's lots of influx of people in Berlin. So you have to be a little bit flexible, that you don't stay fixated towards the center of the Berlin, but also try to look for an apartment towards the outskirts of the Berlin. It's really beautiful, and there you would find apartments which are really nice as well as in your budget range. Now let's talk about scams that you really need to be careful about. There can be many red flags. First, the owner can tell you that he's in a different country or he is suffering from health issues and he cannot travel to Berlin and cannot hand over the keys to you personally, right? And he will ask you to transfer the rent directly to them, provide your details to them, so that he can then send the keys to you by post. That's the very famous or very common scam that you will find in Germany here. So don't do that. Never ever transfer in any money to anyone without confirming or without going to a viewing. Secondly, you would see such listings on all the websites like Airbnb, ImmoScout, WG, everywhere. But you would notice that the owner has a very new profile. So maybe if you think that something is fishy and you check the owner's profile is new, just abandon that listing, okay? Thirdly, you would see that such listings are too good to be true. You would see everything is there that anyone can imagine, but the rent is very low. So you see, that's not possible. It's not a dreamland, it's Berlin. Fourth is Airbnb scam. They will try to redirect you from ImmoScout or from WG Gesu to Airbnb, and they would create a listing on Airbnb which will match all your requirements, right? And only you would be able to book that apartment, and once you book it, your money would be gone and you also don't have an apartment. Another red flag is that they will reply to your messages very, very eagerly without any lag. But if you are, very experienced in this department, you would know that owners do not reply. There is a lots of lag, and then they reply to you because they have lots of applications to deal with. But such scammers, they just need your money, and they are keeping this communication alive so you can transfer your money to them as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I am sure if you follow all these tips, you would be able to find an apartment here in Berlin. Yeah, all the best for your search, and see you later in the next video. Bye bye. Thank you.